I guess a drop on one play. Do you feel like you were able to kind of shake that off and bounce back the rest of the day?
Yeah, definitely. I went over to talk to Coach DeBoer about it. I told him it was a good play call, and it's my bad, but it happens. I definitely don't accept it. It's something that eats me up. But we talk about snap and clear all the time, and yeah, I was angry, but you can't let it carry into the next play because it's going to build up and you're going to make a lot more mistakes. So one thing he said to me is that he likes that it hurts deep down that I drop a pass, because in my mind I'm supposed to catch everyone, and essentially I'm going to. So when I drop a ball, I just snap and clear and forget about it.
As a whole, the passing game just didn't seem as crisp today. What do you think that was?
It's hard to tell. Maybe just an off day, but it's something that we're definitely going to improve upon. I know we weren't satisfied with our completion, percentage. So we're going to go back to practice this next week, and we're going to try and get the timing down and make sure that every ball is caught. We had way too many drop balls today.
Did the defense come out maybe a little stronger today than they did last Saturday?
That's hard to tell if it was the defense coming out strong or if it's just some mental mistakes. We haven't really watched the film. I know they played with some good energy, and we definitely need to pick our energy level up a little bit today. But we're doing all we can to come out here, and we got a solid week and a half of practice left. So we're going to do whatever it takes to keep the ball rolling into summer.
What kind of encouragement, or what do you hear from Dobbs when those kind of plays happen? Just how does he react to you guys?
He comes. I know for me, he came up to me and said, we can't have that, but just shake it off. And he's not going to tell you anything you don't know. He's not going to get in your face, because obviously you know that you're supposed to catch the ball and that forget about it. So he just makes sure that he cares and that he's not going to tolerate it as well. So it's just positive encouragement basically is what Dobbs does in those kind of situations.
Was that a tickle me route, or did you just run what was designed for that play?
Yeah, it was just a great play call by, and they ran the right defense. Just good play call and good route. We were open. Just got to complete it.
Have drops been an issue for the offense this spring, or is today a little unusual?
No, today was really unusual. We've been making some great plays. I know throughout this week. Last practice we watched film as a unit, and Jonathan Johnson laid out, made an incredible catch on plays, and typically some of the passes that were dropped today were just pitch and catch. We got to make those plays, and that hasn't been a factor this spring, so I'm sure it'll get cleaned up by Tuesday.
Do you feel like your rep number is way higher than it was last year with Alex out right now? No Daniel here anymore. It seems like just you and AJ and a little bit of Nico in there.
Definitely, yeah. The rep numbers have gone up this spring, and so that's big. We got to take our personal small injuries and take them, and not really injuries, but like nicks and bruises here. We got to make sure that they're taken care of, and that's something that me and AJ have been stressing, just to make sure that our bodies are completely healthy, because with the added reps, the injury percentage goes up, and we don't want to be one of those guys that's trying to rehab an injury through the summer. We want to be able to come out of spring healthy and take full advantage of the weight room. So the reps have definitely gone up, but it's only going to be beneficial in the long run.
When did you feel like you took the biggest step last fall?
Last fall, the biggest step probably would have been the Georgia game. That it was just like the first time going into a truly hostile environment, and being able to make the plays. I think that was my highest rep game as well, so I got to see a lot of different things, and they had a lot of good players. And the adversity of that game, us not being able to get the win, really kind of jump-started, I think, a lot of our offense and a lot of our defense, because we played a good game, but it wasn't good enough. And I feel like that was probably the game where I took my biggest steps.
Ethan, how much did you had the knee injury earlier in the year? How much did that bother you throughout the course of the season? Were you playing at 80-90% most of the year? Last year,
with the knee injury in the second game, the bye week, we did a lot of rehab. I didn't do a whole lot of practicing. Throughout, I wore that brace probably until about the 8th or 9th game, and it was kind of a hassle. It's a brace for offensive linemen to wear, not tight ends that are supposed to be running routes, so it was a pain in the butt to wear that. But once I took it off, it took a little bit to loosen the knee up, but I would go out there 30 minutes before the game and just run some routes, and once it got loose, it didn't bother me during the games.
This is your second spring. Do you feel like a veteran, or you still kind of finishing up your
For sure. I feel like a veteran, because as I mentioned in previous interviews, that our offense hasn't really changed much. we're doing the same things. I mean, we got some footwork stuff that I need to clean up, and Coach DeBoer's made sure that's evident, you know. But that's the biggest thing right now, I feel like, is the footwork of the new techniques that he's given us. So, but yeah, overall I feel like a veteran.
Can you feel the strength gains you've made?
Yeah, definitely. You know, going up against guys that are bigger than us, one-on-one blocking defensive ends, it's last year I kind of felt overpowered in certain situations. We didn't do a whole lot of that last year, but now I feel like I can hold my ground and definitely feel more powerful and stronger due to the weight room.
Are you keeping in touch with Eli and letting him know
Yeah.
what to expect and how
Yeah.
things are going?
Yeah, I'm telling him. I gave him quite a few tips. I mean, he's running track right now. I told him to, you know, get in the weight room and eat till he throws up, pretty much, because he's gonna have to gain some weight pretty fast to get here. But people, I think, overlook the potential that he had in high school, because I mean, he's far more athletic than I am, and he just, once he gets that body on there, he's gonna be a heck of a player here.
Be in the group with you guys? Todd?
Yeah.
You mean running track or like throwing stuff?
No, he's running. He runs the 100 and 200, so he's fast.
Not a lot of tight ends running the 100
Yeah.
200 meter, right?
Yeah, he's going to be fast when he gets here. He's just got to get stronger.
Ethan, I'm sure you got asked earlier, but with the passing game today, was something just not clicking with everybody? It looked like, at least the part we saw anyway early on, it just didn't look like it was on.
Yeah.
Somewhat working.
It's hard to put a finger on what was going on, but there was just far too many drop balls. Partially, I mean, was on the receivers. Any ball that hits our hands, we got to catch. So, I mean, I had one, and it's unacceptable for our offense to drop tight ends, wide receivers, you know, running backs even, to drop passes. So that's something that we're going to get cleaned up by Tuesday for sure.
It looks like Josh gets a little bit more demonstrative when those things happen now. Like, he's a little bit older now. He's definitely taking more command. I mean, is it not a fun place to go back to that? You know, I know y'all don't huddle, but to go meet up with him after you maybe put one on the ground that you shouldn't have?
He's definitely he definitely makes sure that he knows that you know that that's unacceptable to him. So he does tell us what's going on, but doesn't really, you know, he's not going to go over there and scold you on the sideline for not catching the ball, because that's not going to help anybody. But he will come up and he'll say, you know, we can't have that, make the next play. And, I mean, obviously you know that, but it's good to hear that from your quarterback as well, who still has faith in you.
Are days like this more frustrating because y'all are, you know, a much different looking team now? I mean, just physically a lot bigger, a lot older. Is it tougher when you have a day like that than it maybe used to be, because you don't expect things like that anymore?
Definitely. I mean, last year everybody knows that we didn't have a whole lot of experience. We didn't really try and use it as an excuse, but this year there's no excuse as to why things happen like that. We got guys that have played. We don't have a whole lot of new guys on offense. I mean, we got a lot of returners, so the mistakes that were made last year can't be made this year. Everybody falls victim to it sometimes, but we got to make sure that we get in the film room and get it corrected in practice, because we got to all be on the same page and have a good momentum going into summer.
I'm sorry, what's this fast-paced offense like for a tight end?
It's not terrible, honestly. I mean, there's times where you wish you had a little bit more time, but then again, you got to really think why we're doing it, because we're trying to, you know, wear our defenses out, or wear our opponents out. And you can, throughout the course of last year, like in the end of games, you could tell that we were conditioned for all that, and the defenses weren't in certain cases. So it's definitely beneficial. The biggest adjustment you have to make is you got to be able to read defenses and know what you're doing that much faster, because you don't have time to sit at the line and analyze what kind of coverage you got or what kind of show you have. So you just got to think quicker. Basically the biggest adjustment.